Good morning, everyone. This is Crypto and Coffee with the Trading Bros. I'm your host, Clutch Crypto.
And I still don't know why you talk like that during the intro. But I'm B. Wellington. What's up, people?
It's March 14th, 2022, 9:17 Eastern Standard Time. We got an exciting week for crypto, and we're about to jump right to the charts. B. Wellington,
Yeah,
let's
yeah,
see
no,
what we
we'll
got.
jump into the you'll jump into the charts. Also want to jump into right
Your
like
horchata?
my horchata, my dirty horchata. Let's not uh let's not reveal any of our culinary secrets here. Let's see here. Let's share that. Go to the charts. All right, so here we got ETH because we always look at ETH. ETH's the baby. This is the daily chart. You know, very same story every week as far as the daily is concerned. As far as the macro as it relates to Ethereum, we have this the high that we're at. Here's that trend line that comes off of that. We still haven't broken above that trend line. In fact, we're trending away from that trend line. How many times can I say trend line? And so, I'm not really looking for anything long wise until we really start to push into these areas. So I have this box here, which is just another area that we'll see on kind of a smaller time frame that'll show some activity. So if we hop down to the 1 hour, it gets a little bit messier with all the shit on the chart. But we've got a lot of things that are happening here. So last night we kind of had a drop, right, that tested. I believe what's happening here is that they're baiting in more shorts into this particular area. And then as you can see, we reversed. We had some nice volume that came in. We had a reversal, came back up. So anybody that took any of these late shorts last night are now, trapped in those positions, taken out stop wise. I believe this is going to continue to happen. Um, one of the things that, is that your shit over there beeping and shit?
Oh yeah, man. Something with the weather is happening over here.
Oh, the hey man, take
Solar
shelter
flare.
if possible. So I think we've come back up. You see this wick here. This is an imbalance. These are the imbalances that sometimes we talk about that where you have these long wicks here, and then you also have them to the bottom, which are imbalances in the chart that you generally see price comes up to. So we've got somewhat of a double resistance here. So I imagine there's going to be a lot of folks that go short again off of this. So these folks are probably feeling confident because we bounced off of this trend line here, and we bounced off of the 200 on the 1 hour. So you probably got some folks that are adding to those shorts as this bounce here is happening, which I believe is exactly what institution wants traders to do. So we may get down to back to the daily open, but I don't even know if we'll get down there. I think we'll bounce from the 50 EMA and head back up. If we look at smaller time frames, you can see that we're just ranging, we're ranging below this trend line here. It's funny how I haven't moved these trend lines since we started putting them in, and look how right, like look how we're just
It's just,
wicking them.
dang, that's so accurate.
Yeah, I mean, the only reason why it's accurate is because it's the same trend line that a bunch of other traders are using. And so the only thing that I like to see is based upon what the chart looks like and based upon what other TI or TA tells you to do, what do I think those traders are doing? So
They're,
if those
they're, they're
traders are
going
doing
long on those breakouts.
I mean, they could be going long on those breakouts, but say you got a trader where we've broken through this trend line, we've touched it, right? And we've come back down, we've come back down, we come back down. This is inducing shorts. The fact that we've come back up and reconfirmed to the downside, you're going to have a lot of folks that go short in this area. You're going to have some folks that go long, but I believe you're going to have more folks that go short because we've got kind of this major trend line down. Normally, so I'm biased. I would say I'm biased from a macro standpoint. I'm biased to the downside. But I'm not taking any active shorts right now because I think any aggressive shorts in this area will get taken out by a move that goes to the upside. So just to kind of mm, put things in perspective, I think, if we have anything, we might get back to the daily open for a short. Maybe that's the move that happens when the futures open, kind of a false move to the downside and then a move back up. I mean, these first couple days, we've got a lot of news out there too that is, pretty significant. I don't have it up, but we used to look at CryptoCraft, which has a lot. I'm just looking at this EU news that's coming out. Um, so we've got BT on the cusp of a bearish breakout. Someone sold 1 million. Yeah, Bitcoin slides ahead of EU vote, which could practically ban key digital currencies.
Wow, yeah.
Right? So, banning currencies in the EU, this is something that is pretty significant. So, and really what it relates to, from my understanding, is proof of work. It's more of a environmental deal where they want certain, like, to meet minimum environmental sustainability standards, and this affects Bitcoin because of course Bitcoin is, you know I don't know, somehow they're gonna have to get it within these minimum standards, but what they're saying is that the way that they're being put together, it would be very difficult for Bitcoin to meet those standards. But I don't think, anytime we've seen banning in countries, I mean, not as big as the EU, but they tried to ban in India and they had to come back. They tried to ban in other countries that had to come back. Not had to, but it was in the best interest of them to come back.
So pretty much everywhere
and restart
that
the
it's
program.
pretty much everywhere that it's been banned in countries, they've ended up bringing it back. Is that what you're saying?
Right. Almost every time. I haven't seen one. I mean, do you know of one that's banned right now that remained? I know
No.
India, they've tried to do it early on. EU's probably just another. But this isn't exactly a ban on Bitcoin. This is saying, okay, Bitcoin's going to have to meet these minimum environmental standards, but whatever, we'll figure out what that means. I don't think it's going to, if anything, it's probably going to help Bitcoin versus hurt it. But, getting up to the news that we have.
Also at 11 a.m. we have some news this morning right out of the gate.
Yeah, if I can, let's see. Get off of that. All right, so yeah, I don't know what's up with my mouse. My mouse is fucking up. My computer may die here in a minute. Stop all this. Let's see, something went wrong because you motherfuckers are fucking with me. Get off of the screen. All right, we're having some difficulty here.
Excuse us, ladies and gentlemen. We're experiencing
computer's doing it.
technical difficulties.
Slow beats. Hold on, okay, here we go. I'm gonna stop share and then I'm gonna reshare.
What a great idea! From underneath the rabbit's ass.
From underneath the rabbit's ass. So yeah, I mean, we've got 1-year inflation inspections. I think all of this is still pretty baked in. What I like to see, I don't know why it is stuck on this.
Just click escape.
I've clicked all kind of shit. Okay. So we have retail sales that are coming out Wednesday, but really the big meeting is the FOMC announcement on Fed funds rate. What do you think they're going to do? You think they're going to raise rates, or you think they're going to keep them the same?
I think that's everyone's question, right? I don't know yet. I
I mean,
think
you don't know yet. It's Wednesday. You better make some decisions.
no. I really kind of want to pay attention to what happens the next few days.
I mean, look,
Everyone's expecting them to go up, so I'm a little. My nature's more doing opposite of what most people think is going to happen, so they may just leave it completely alone.
well, so yeah, so they said, I don't know if everybody thinks that though, because I think a lot of Wall Street, at least on Wall Street pundits, are saying that they can't, right? Like it would be detrimental that the reason why they said that it was going to go up was because that inflation was supply chain driven, and now the supply chain is going to work itself out, and therefore that allows them to move up. Obviously, that assumption that the supply chain problem is going to go away is no longer valid because of the situation that we have, which is escalating.
But come on,
You
man,
know,
you're talking about the biggest inflation we've had in the last 40 years. There's got to be some type of correction here.
I mean, there's got to be some type of correction, but it's going to be accelerated in the short term. So whether it would behoove, I like to use that word every once in a while. It would behoove the Fed to keep it the same, right, for now, and observe how the war is impacting, inflation overall. But it would behoove them to stay pat, right? So most, good investors, good traders, say patience is a virtue. So, if the Fed really was doing their was doing their duty, they would wait, right? The trade, I think, or not the trade, but the motion is to do nothing and wait to see what happens, right? Because if they do something, then they can be blamed for doing something, but you're less at fault if you say, "Hey, I'm just going to wait to observe how this is impacting everything." I think there's less, right? There's less accountability by saying we're going to be patient because everybody can understand you being patient.
Well, when you're talking about inflation continuing to go up, if that was the case because they were doing things because they were patient, then now you have even a bigger problem on your hands, and then you have even a bigger cutback on your hands. Like
Yeah, but
it
I mean,
totally
but they
could be a
have
double
time
edged
to
sword
observe
here.
that. They have time to absorb that. We'll see. I mean, what have they said before that their number one priority is not number one priority. Their priority is keep the stock market going, right? So an increase would not be good for the stock market, especially with all the commodity issues that were. It's going to be an interesting week, though. That this is the fun part of the discussion. I say it's fun. It shouldn't be fun. We're talking about um, major things happening in the market. But let's digress because the futures market is about to open. We'll just go through this real quick. We've got funding rates that are out there. Most of your funding rates are positive except for BitMEX. This is on ETH. This is something we always just like to see, but across the board looks like we're neutral to positive, right? Except for one exchange. On the open interest side, I pulled this up a little bit earlier, but this is on the hourly. We've had price that's gone up. We've had open interest that's gone down. Um,
Spot's trying to make its way back.
yeah, spot is starting to increase somewhat, but if you just look at overall trends, spot has been going down, right? And so all that accumulation that they've done early on just looks like they're starting to sell off a little bit more. But you've got price up, you've got big drops in OI here, which I would imagine are shorts that are closing. But I think we also have shorts that are opening as well. Just overall, based upon some of the other data, that we've been looking at. If we look at, just kind of stock market in general, it's 831. Nasdaq just open. everything's pretty flat. Gold's down, oil's down, but not that much. Bitcoin's up. Uh, I pulled this up earlier just so we can kind of take a look at, overall trends. So this is not long, so this is not short. So obviously shorts have been and continue to build. And so, we'll see where it goes. But, prediction is you get a little bit of trickery in the first day here on a Monday. We probably head up to squeeze some shorts and see how it goes heading into Wednesday. But I'd be interested to see kind of what's happening with things on Bookmap and on High Block. So I will stop sharing and allow Dick Crypto to take over the
Let's do it.
airways.
Taking over the airways. All right, all right. So this is High Block Capital on ETH. We're going to refresh this real quick. We're going to dive into it. All right, cool. So as you can see, we're hovering around pretty much the middle of the chart. We've had a bunch of shorts and longs fighting right here in this range for the past 24 hours. We do have a nice big long liquidation down here at 50 or 25.48. Do pay attention to that area, and there's another one big down here at 25.07. Us hitting both of those does not cause us to reach a lower low as well. So we will not be reaching a lower low as long as we don't pass this 24.96 liquidation. So pay attention to what happens when we get in, if we see that area before the next show. If we break below that, expect more prices to the downside. However, we do have, quite a big list of liquidations to the upside for the shorts, and we're talking all the way up to the 2,800. So do pay attention for that. Looks like New York's wanting to open with a stop onto the low. Let me slide this over. This is Bookmap right here. Let me open this up. As you can see, we are having CVD just dropped. We were at negative 15,000 while ago, so it's just done a nice drop. As you can see, this is starting to move away from the difference price and the limited and the limit ask and limit bid. So right here, I would expect to see a little sharp fall off here. Does that take us to 2550, 2500? We're just going to have to wait and see how this plays out once we get to this 2550 range. Again, we do have a big liquidation in that area, and we have another one down just below this area as well that we just saw in High Block. So I do pretty much anticipate us coming back down to the 2500 range before we continue to the upside. But, I mean, this is anyone's game, so we'll have to wait and see how this plays out. To the upside here, as you can see, we really just have this guy right here at 2640. He's got about 2,400 orders, 2650 right above it. This does have about 600 orders, and the next area of big orders is still at that 3,000 point that we've been looking at for the last week or two. They haven't really deviated away from the 3,000 point on the high side. If you go to the low side, we are looking at, I mean, you have 2,200 orders at 2,400. You have 2,350 here. I mean, these are all, pretty heavy sell walls. I don't really expect this like dropping down into this range till possibly later in the week, and that's going to kind of depend on what the Fed news is released. I think that's going to play a really big factor in price movement and price direction, and whether or not we, have this big plunge that we've been expecting. And that's another thing, right? So we've been expecting a big plunge. We've been expecting a big plunge for a while, right? So thinking about it from that perspective, I think the Fed's going to hike the rates up.
Induce the big plunge?
Yeah.
Could be.
Yeah.
I mean, look, they've stated that they have, so everything says that they have. If they don't, that's going to be the surprise, right? Mm-hmm. So they're either going to be consistent with policy, which, who knows if they have been or not. I haven't studied the Fed hikes and expectations around that and how they keep it. But we're in an area where that we haven't seen inflation in, over 20 years, in our lifetimes at least. And
Sure.
so who knows what this Fed chairman's going to do, this Powell guy.
So,
Somebody was, just on, I won't go into too much. It's like, we don't get to vote on who runs, basically the most important policies relative. We're a capitalist state, we're a capitalist nation, right? So the Fed chair basically runs our entire economy, and those are appointed by these politicians that, yeah, we elect the politicians, but there's sometimes their choices are not very consistent with some of the other policies that they have. So it'd be nice if we could have a choice in who's going to be the fucking
yeah, man,
you know
that's a great point. I never really thought of it like
Fed
that, but yeah, that makes total sense to me.
So book map is kind of leaning towards an early dip, and from there we'll see what happens. But we're expecting somewhat of a squeeze.
Oh yeah, yeah, absolutely. Again, like so we came back. That drop that happened last night, as you can see, this drop starting to play out now. Uh, you know, that drop that happened yesterday took us all the way to negative 28,000 CBD. So I mean, we hang out in this range. As long as you don't see like a major tape off of CBD here to more to the downside, then this is just more or less a stop hunt. Damn it! I just got
Right.
taken out of my trade. Anyway, yeah.
Hey
So
man, this is good. You've been taken out. You have an opportunity to get back in at a better price.
yeah, I mean that was the whole point of me putting that stop loss in profit in case we did have this breakdown, which I was expecting that we kind of would. So that's why I went ahead and did it so I can get a better price. I'm looking down here in the 25.30 range, maybe 25.20, somewhere down in this ballpark, kind of where I'm looking at, because we have a big wick that we need to, or I say wick, we have a big candle down here that we need to come down and recover. So, which is close to the daily open as well. So I'm gonna be looking for a long in that area, and then get back in and try to ride this back up. That's kind of my plans for the day. So that's all we have. Expect this drop here. Once this drop gets over, we have a nice little rebound. I think we're going to head to the upside for a few days after that. And then we're definitely going to see what happens on Wednesday when we have that big news release. You got anything else?
No, I think I talked enough this episode.
We have talked enough this morning, ladies and gentlemen. We've taken up 29 minutes and 7 seconds of your time. I hope we were able to give you some good insight on market predictions for today. We'll see you tomorrow, same time, same place.